So family, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a video on something that I am super passionate about, and that is marriage. I got a request about a week ago asking, how do you know the right time to get married? And I thought about that question, and it's something that I struggled with whenever I was younger, and so I'm really excited to post this video, but I also want to talk about marriage in general and how you treat each other and what a good marriage takes and everything like that. Because what I've been noticing in just like our culture is people get married, of course, people love each other, but men and women don't know how to properly love each other. They don't know how to properly respect each other. They don't know how to go about having a healthy relationship. And so I want to do this video about how do you know when to get married? What are some things that you should know before you get married that are tools to use in your marriage and have a good marriage and everything like that. Because I love my husband so much, like so much. And there are things that he does, that he's a person, and so he fails sometimes, and I'm a person and I fail sometimes, but every single day of our lives we work hard at our marriage. We don't just say like, oh, our marriage will be fine, let's just go on with our life. No, we work hard at it every single day, and even while he's gone, he's working towards being a better man. Like, he brought books with him to how to be a great husband and how to be a good Christian leader and everything like that. And so I really want to stress that in this video of knowing what it takes to have a marriage before you just jump in and are like, I can't do this anymore. And so I want to give you tools to do both of those, and I hope this video isn't too long. I may end up splitting it into 2 parts, but we will see. So the first thing that I'll talk about is, how do you know when it's time to get married? I wrote some notes so I wouldn't forget, because I'm scramble-headed sometimes. So let's see. Oh. So I have talked to a lot of girls about this, and it shocks me to know that this thing that I'm about to talk about, y'all don't really know about, or you just decide not to do it. And that is premarital counseling. So first, counseling, counseling comes off as like a bad thing, where if you have a problem, go to counseling. If you're struggling in your marriage, go to counseling. And I just want to scratch it right now, because like I said, me and my husband work at our marriage every single day. To go to a marriage class, to go to or to have a mentor marriage couple, to go to counseling, those are good things. Like, you have to work at your marriage for the rest of your life. And why, when you're struggling, say, now I need to work on my marriage? Why not, when you first started your marriage, say, let's work on our marriage so that you're going to have problems, but at least you're working through them already and not like blindsided by random issues that you didn't even know about. So counseling is so important, and going to marriage classes and everything like that. But to go back to premarital counseling, I'm like shook by the fact that y'all don't do this. And if you do this, thumbs up to you, because you're awesome. And yeah, so premarital counseling comes before marriage, premarital. And it's basically like, so I say a lot, like, if you're texting a guy and you text him for like 2 months, you're not going to know him. Like, I X the fact that you're in a relationship, because you cannot have a relationship purely on texting. Then the next step is dating them in person, having this conversation, being with them, understanding their reactions and what makes them laugh and everything like that. But even then, even if you date them for like 10 years, you will not know that person fully 100% until you marry them, you live in the same house, you brush your teeth together, you do all of these life things together. And even then, a lot of wives don't know their husbands because their husbands aren't vulnerable with them. So husbands, I encourage you first to be vulnerable, and wives also to be vulnerable. But The thing about premarital counseling is it opens those doors to be vulnerable. My hair's like doing crazy things. To be vulnerable. And when you're dating, you think, I know this person so much, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. You don't know why he does certain things. You may know that he does those things, but you don't know why. Because all of those things that he does and all the things that you do come from childhood things. Come from like, how did your mom discipline you? How did your dad discipline you? Did your parents yell at each other? Something that I struggle with is whenever I was younger, my dad would yell. And so my husband, he would raise his voice. And immediately, because that like triggered in my head, I would shut down. I just like couldn't think, I couldn't talk, like I couldn't do anything. And that would make him upset. And he didn't know why I did that because I wasn't vulnerable in that area. And so we had to learn together and we had to go to classes and I had to say, oh, that's why I do this. And there are things like that. And premarital counseling asks those hard questions so that you can know what you're getting into in marriage. And a lot of times, like when you do premarital counseling, it's kind of like I've known people who have gone through premarital counseling and they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be together. Like, is that from your past? Like that could affect me, or my past could affect you, or maybe that isn't going to react together, or maybe we're just not good together, or whatever they thought. But sometimes premarital counseling is like a wake-up call. You're like, whoa, I know so much about you now. But now I know because your father yelled, I'm not going to yell. Because if I yell, that'll hurt you. And so you get to know those deep things about each other. And so premarital counseling is so, so important, you guys. Like, I'm probably just going to make this like a premarital counseling video because it's just so, so important. And I'm just like honestly shook by the fact that some of y'all don't do that. And to start a relationship, you have to know a lot about this person because you're going to live right beside them. Like you're going to go to sleep right beside each other. And if you don't know what makes them upset, what hurts their feelings, that could be bad because we all come from different backgrounds and we all have different filters. And if you say something that maybe like their mom said when they were younger that they didn't like, and you say that, they're going to be upset. And you're like, why are you upset with me? And they don't know because they haven't thought about that. And you're just like in this constant battle with each other. Well, if you would have known that his mom had said that, you would stay away from saying that. So it's just like, I wish you guys would take premarital counseling. And I'm just going to say, like, I'm just going to go ahead and be honest, like, do it. Just do premarital counseling because it could possibly, like, save you a lot of fighting, a lot of sadness, and everything like that. So I don't know what's going on with my hair right now. So do the premarital counseling, please, 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 please. I knew I needed premarital counseling. I know that everyone needs premarital counseling. I know it's so important. And so we ended up getting married at a courthouse, which we had no idea we were going to do like a week before. So it was like super fast. And I don't know if this is everywhere, but in the state of Texas, it's really hard to find someone who will marry you if you haven't done premarital counseling. And so we ended up finding someone and we decided that we were going to do premarital counseling after. And while we were married, we went through premarital counseling. They gave us a little bit of different structure, but it like was super great anyways because we got to know each other better and our hearts and everything like that. And so if I encourage you, like, it doesn't matter if you get court married and then you're planning the wedding. Like, me and him didn't live together. So our premarital counselors had to call us both because we both lived in different cities. And he lived in a different state. They called us both, and then we talked through the questions and the answers, and we would talk to each other about our hearts and everything. And so it's definitely possible. Like, don't give an excuse and say, oh, I can't do it because he lives in a different state, or blah, 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 or blah, 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 blah. Like, make time for it. Even if he's on deployment and he comes back, like, make time for some kind of counseling so that you know each other in a vulnerable way. Because vulnerability is like so essential in marriage. Like to be vulnerable with each other, like it just is, like it just so is. And so I encourage that and like so strongly. And yeah, that was my number one point. So I'm probably gonna make this into one video because this is so long already. So So the second thing I want to talk about is personally what I think makes a strong marriage, never divorcing in your entire life, ever. And that is commitment. Something that I love is, if y'all have watched The Bachelor, you know Vanessa. And I love Vanessa because when she went to the parents' house during that last day, or like the second to the last day, whatever day it was, she asked those hard questions. She asked the dad, and I'll play a clip of this.
Now, do you think that the fact that at least I love him, and I feel like he is at that point, or almost at that point, I'm not sure, I'm assuming, do you think that love is enough to make a relationship last?
You have to not just love the person, but you have to be willing to give up. You have to sacrifice. So no, love's not enough. It's commitment. It's selflessness.
She asked the dad, is love enough? That's what she said, I think. But she said, is love enough? And the dad was like, no, it's not. Love is not enough. And I get a lot of emails that are like, I love him. He's so great. Love him, love him, love him, love him, love him. And of course, you should love him. That's awesome. And I'm glad that y'all love him. And, that's any basis to a marriage and a relationship. But it doesn't just take love. It takes commitment. Because, no one in this entire world has gone into a marriage knowing that they're going to divorce that person. Because all of marriages start with, I love them. They're so great. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. It's like they love each other, of course. But the problem with the after the wedding is the commitment. Because you love each other and you know that you think each other great. But what about the commitment? What about thinking, I'm going to stay with this person for the rest of my life, no matter what they do? No matter. They could kill someone and I will stay with them because I love them. Killing's probably way far off the spectrum. But just think of something that you're like, I don't think I could. If he did this, I don't think I would stay with him. Think of that one thing. What possibly could he do that would make you leave him? And if you can think of something and say, yep, I'm going to leave him, then don't get married to him. Because he is a fallen man who will fail you. You are a fallen woman who will fail him. And maybe sit down with him and have that conversation of, whatever I do, whatever you do, we will stay with each other. We will never mention the word divorce because that is not an option. We want to stay together no matter what we do. No matter. If you have that one thing, you need to talk to him or talk to someone about that issue. Because that one issue could cause you to leave him. And that's why I said at the beginning, you should always be working on your marriage, always. Because you don't want to be blindsided by that one thing. You want to continue to work on your marriage so that you don't have those issues. You're vulnerable with each other. You are committed to each other. You have this passion and love for each other. And ultimately, you're growing together. If you're a Christian, you're growing towards God and you're going to stay strong in your relationship with the Lord and you're going to stay strong in your relationship with each other. And that commitment to each other is so, so important. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to make this into 2 videos because this is really long and I have so much more to say because I'm so passionate about marriage and everything like that. It's just I just love marriage and just coming from a family of divorce, I hate to see people like that. I hate to see two people just split. And I know a couple who's my age, we went to high school together, and they're divorced, and I'm just it breaks my heart because I wish I could do something. I wish I could help them, but commitment is so much greater than love in my eyes. It's so much greater than love, and love is great. I think our idea of love is so small. If we had a bigger idea of love, then I think we would, love is commitment, basically. But the word love is so small that I'm just commitment seems more important in our English language to me. So I just want to end with scripture and what the Bible says about love. It's called the marriage scripture. And I'll probably end like this the rest of my marriage videos because I think it's so important to understand what love is. And it says, as we know, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. So something that I really like about this verse, and that I encourage you and your husband, or you and your future husband, to do one day, is just to go over this verse and to talk through it and put your name in there. Because love, in a previous chapter, it says God is love, and we are made in the image of God. And so we are love. That's who we are. And so to put your name in there, so like if I put my name in there, I would say Brittany is patient, Brittany is kind, Brittany does not envy, Brittany does not boast, Brittany is not proud, Brittany does not dishonor others, she is not self-seeking, she is not easily angered, she keeps no record of wrong, she does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. Brittany always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Brittany never fails. And so it's kind of like warm, because you're like, I don't want to be easily angered. I want to be patient. I want to be kind. And it's like God uses this verse to tell us who we're supposed to be. And it's encouraging to think, I can be that. I can be that if I truly work at it, truly work at my marriage. I can be love, who my husband wants. And so I just want to close with that. And again, I'll probably, like, that was the end of my rant. So I'll make another video, part 2, and be on the lookout for that, because I'll probably make it next. And so I hope this kind of answered your questions about what it takes, what you should do before you get married, or how do you know that it's time to get married? Are you committed? That's the one question. Are you committed? I mean, if you don't do premarital counseling, fine. Like, don't do it. Who cares? Whatever. I can't control your life. But be committed to each other. Work hard at your marriage. Go to classes. Do things. Go to conventions about marriage. Do things to help you, and don't be slackers. Because when you're lazy, things get not done. Like, when you're lazy, your house isn't clean. It gets dirty. It gets messy. It gets gross. That's how your marriage is. If you don't work at your marriage, if you're lazy, it just builds up. It gets gross. It gets smelly and all that. So again, I'm done with my rant. So I hope this gave you a little bit of insight of what, again, a marriage should look like and the things that you should do. If you want to email me, you can. If you want to write a comment below, I would definitely appreciate that, because I love your comments. Be sure to share this video, like it, give it a thumbs up, and of course, as always, subscribe to my channel, because I love the community that I have in this YouTube channel. It's totally amazing. If you want to follow me on social media, you can. I have the links below. And again, I love y'all, and I just want the best for y'all, and I will see y'all in my next video.